No. Just no. 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 Got a book today. Ooh, book delivered. I've been trying to get up to date on defrag a bit, and I finally got it. It took a while. It was a pain in the butt to get, but I finally got most of the defrags. I've got 16, 17, and 18. This is just volume 15. It's just, I've worked out that if you try to go for older volumes, they are really hard to find. Like, really hard. Sometimes you can find the odd one or two on, like, a bookstore or something that they have, like, leftover stock. But it's like trying to get the rest of these is just a living nightmare as far as things go. And I love defrag. I really want a second season for it. Wishful thinking, but, you know. One other thing I also want to talk about. I really get triggered every time I open this cupboard and I see this specific figure right here. I really want to unbox this. I showed it off a while ago, but I get triggered, so I have to vent this. I really want to unbox this. I've had it sitting in here for a month or so, and I get so irritated. I'm like, please, just let me unbox it. So I gotta get this room sorted out. It's ASAP. But I need to move furniture. I need to build a glass cabinet. I need to fix another room up so that I can move my bed in there. Then I need to get the new computer built, because just one, I need a new computer. This one's getting a bit old and it's starting to get a little bit sluggish, but also Microsoft updates and the changes of Windows, and then just also the fact that I need better hardware for rendering and all that kind of stuff. And also I want to start streaming as well more. Well, actually I want to start streaming, period. And then also just the fact that I need to sort out the cabling because of the internet that I got upgraded, and that's also another problem. So if I get a new modem, new motherboard, I can get a wireless built in, so it'd be nice. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things. And this is the thing. I feel like some of my past videos, I wasn't as constructive as I should be. And that's why I kind of took a step back from some of it, and I just like toned myself down. Because I had a lot of viewers that were saying, hey, you know, as much as you had some very valid points in some of your past videos when it came to things like the Anime Man, it wasn't as constructive. It was a little bit, I was just being a little bit of a D-bag. And so I was like, when I looked at it, and I rewatched the original video, and I just looked at it, and I was like, dude, I was just being an absolute tosspot. And it's why it's kind of funny, because I think some people are really angry at me for actually reflecting on that and saying, hey, maybe I should be more constructive and more logical and thought it out rather than being so emotionally driven. And that's the thing. I get emotionally driven. I get frustrated because every day you log on and you see stuff like this, right? Light novel historian. I don't like talking about him because he is one of the biggest grifters out there. I generally just get irritated. And I blocked him way back, which is ironic, because he made a tier list type thing. And it was like comparing 4 animes to 4 other animes. And he was basically saying these 4 animes are better than these 4 other animes. And I can't remember exactly what ones were in them. I think ReZero was on one side, and then Mushoku Tensei was on the other side. And he said Mushoku Tensei is worse than the others, but he admitted that he hadn't read 6 out of 8 of them. But now he's claiming that he has read them. So this is the thing, I get irritated by this guy, because he says one thing and then flip-flops on another thing. And then there was another tweet where he claimed that Mushoku Tensei was trash, and just a bad series in general, and a bad light, but then admits at the end. But then turns around and says that it's super good, that's like it's super well written, it's all amazing and all the rest, and then says it's problematic. And I'm just like, I swear, it's like every couple of weeks, his whole opinion on things just flip-flops based on what his community wants him to say, or whatever is sort of required to be said to stay fitting in. And it's why I can't take anything he says serious. Because he just flip-flops all the goddamn time. Someone needs to do like a compilement of all the things that he says, where it's just one minute he says another thing and another thing. But he does a lot of like videos on X, and then tweets, and then videos on YouTube and shorts and all that. So it's like you compile it all together, it's just a cluster. And so that's why it's kind of like hard to compile everything, because he says one thing on one platform, another thing on another platform. And the irony in this is just, it's peak in itself. And like I said, I want to stay more constructive and really iron out these problematic things, you know? Being problematic about problematic is problematic. I'd been a bit silly there, but I'll play this one here because I've talked about this specific video or shorts in itself, and a lot of us have absolutely cooked it.
Something like this in your cart, you need to be locked up. If you see this and don't see a problem with it, you should probably seek some help. Now, I understand this has always been a thing in the anime community, but at some point we have to draw a line somewhere. Y'all tried to say I was the problem when I said people who buy the half-naked free run something.
And that also is just, again, I've talked about it in the older videos where I was like, you know, the half-naked free rent. It's like, oh, that's problematic. I'm like, she's an adult. It's like, what is your beef? Why are you so pressed about this? That statement will be very ironic later on. But it's like, why are you so pressed about adult figures? And you can say, well, Nezuko, but this is an adult form Nezuko. This is an adult form. It's the same with the free run. But suddenly anything, you know, showing some skin or fan service is suddenly evil. And so he's been getting cooked left, right, and center. I think all of us have kind of cooked him. But It's a Gundam absolutely reamed his butthole. And so, of course, Light Novel Historian, in the classic fashion, got pressed about it as well.
Case in point, there's another huge creator with nearly 1 million subscribers who
By the way, I just want to point something out here. Why does it matter how many subscribers they have? I know I bring it up occasionally, but I do notice, like, straight away he brought that up. And in a shorts video, it's just like, it's the first thing he kind of brings up. I could understand if it was a longer form video and you're kind of giving a bit of information about the individual, but it's like, I don't know, that seems like a very quick thing to go after.
Case in point, there's another huge creator with nearly 1 million subscribers who called out one of my mutuals for just criticizing people buying a barely clothed Nezuko figure. Like, is this really what you want to defend? Why are you so pressed about this?
And that's the irony in it as well, is that, oh, why are you so pressed about it? Why are you so pressed in calling everything problematic? And by the way, this individual has called people the P word for liking certain things. And this is the same guy that sits there and cries and carries on and goes, oh, I love anime, blah, blah, blah. And this great, like, he's been crashing out for hours now, for the last day. People just calling him out, calling him a tourist. I prefer the word fake or poser. But he's been crashing out saying, you know, oh, but I've gone to Japan for all these times. And this tweet really encapsulates why people call him out. Watching anime for 13 years, moves to Japan, calls himself a light novel enjoyer, calls people who like young anime manga characters the P word. And that's the thing. They're just saying, you know, we like these characters, and then suddenly you're the P word. That's the problem. It's just liking the characters makes you problematic. Yeah, there are some weird people out there that go a little bit too far, but again, those are very far and few, and they generally just get a lot of attention because you know how the algorithm works. You have watched manga and anime more than them, not me, but you still don't understand the culture itself. This is why people are calling you a tourist, and that's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's like he constantly keeps trying to use weird, broken logic defenses, and it's like a great example of, you know, he's like getting upset on behalf of another content creator saying, oh, well, why are you people so pressed about it? But you yourself are also being pressed about it. You are really pressed at the idea that people are saying fan service is not problematic, that fan service is not this evil, diabolical problem, and that it doesn't make you the P word. But you are so pressed that you desperately want to label anyone that likes any form of fan service the P word. Because you're generalizing, you're constantly attacking the anime community, you're constantly attacking the anime culture, but then you turn around and say, oh, but I love it, and I go there and I spend time. It's like, this is where people feel like there's this tourist issue, this grifting issue. And you are notoriously known for flip-flopping on opinions. 1 minute you like something, next minute you hate it. Oh, and the other thing that really irritates me is when you use really dumb defensive techniques, which is an example of, you'll say, oh, this show and this light novel is really great and it's super well written, but it's problematic, and then you use the fact that you praise it as a shield for criticism towards you calling it problematic. Because you yourself know that you don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to calling things problematic, that you then have to go, yeah, but I think it's well written, I'm just calling it problematic, so you should only listen to me. It's like, you know that a lot of your points have no weight to stand on. And so you instantly fall back to that defensive mechanism. It reminds me of other content creators that attacked free RAM when they would use the threats of life as a shield for criticism towards their takes of calling it some racial political propaganda. It's like, that's the problem, is that a lot of these individual content creators are using very silly, illogical, and hypocritical shields to defend their point. It's like, oh, deflection would be a better word. And that's why I get irritated. That's why I get kind of sometimes a little bit emotional. A little bit's an understatement. Because these kinds of people are not going in this in good faith. They are trying to twist logic, they're trying to twist facts, and they're trying to turn this into a, hey, this is problematic and we should change all of this. But by the way, I'm just a fan, just like you. And it's like, this is why people get a different impression. Because you're claiming you're a fan of something and, oh, you love it, it's so great, it's so amazing, but it's problematic and we should remove all these elements. And it's like, it just doesn't line up. But the biggest issue is when you use the whole, oh, but I think it's great, as a shield for any criticism on you calling it problematic. Because naturally, if you're going to have criticism or praises, even if it's like positive or negative aspects to a show, someone is going to have a difference in opinion. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to shut down any difference in opinion with the terrible shielding of, yeah, but I said it was good, so you can't go after me and criticize me for calling it problematic. That's your problem. And you're doing the same thing here with your friend. You're mutual. People are calling out their bad take and you're saying, why are you so pressed about it? Why are you so pressed about criticism on their criticism? Because it's, you know that they don't have a leg to stand on. Rather than actually critiquing the criticism, you are trying to use it as a shield of why you're so pressed. As Red Logic points out, he uses the fallacy of why you are so pressed, but that same question could be flipped on them. Why are they so pressed about a figure, especially a demon Nezuko, that looks like a grown woman? Light novel historian and his buddies are trying to cancel content creators liking fanservice. And that's not a lie. He's been going after other large content creators. And I've been critical of Joey the Anime Man, and he's been going after that. And some of the takes and some of the things that he's going after Joey on is the most dogwood. It's just so obvious that it's twisting and trying to take things out of context and trying to sort of almost strawman Joey. And as you all know, I'm not scared of criticizing Joey. Definitely have my criticisms. But you've got to be based in facts and logic when it comes to criticism and just common sense. What they're going after Joey over, which was the colonialism thing, was just completely bad faith. People were really trying to take everything at really take everything exact to words, but Joey was just using a generalization of like colonialism within the anime community. But instead they tried to make it some political grandstanding, and that's exactly what I've been calling out, is, again, talking about politics in itself is not so much of an issue, except for the fact when they're trying to use it in bad faith. And that's exactly what Light Novel Historian has done. And it's the reason why I have people like this blocked, because they're not interested in good faith debates and arguments. They're trying to use this, again, fallacy of why are you so pressed, as to shut down any criticism. It's why I get frustrated. So that's why I said my first part at the start that I know I sound a little bit emotional, but I'm trying to kind of reel it in and stay as grounded in calling these things out for what they are, rather than getting so wrapped up in the emotions, because this is what these people want. They want to rile you up, they want to get you emotional, and then they do the whole, why are you so pressed, as a shield for them calling you the P word. Because that's the thing, he's basically saying, why are you so pressed at us calling you the P word? You should just accept us labeling you as the P word. Really? Really? You water down the word because you're a disingenuous hypocrite. And that's why people are calling you a fake, a poser, and a Taurus. Because it's very clear that you're not genuine, you're just grifting. And I've known that because I've seen your statements on different things. Your worst enemy is someone with a good memory. And a lot of us have been keeping a very close eye on some of the hypocritical things you say. And I get that you want to get some extra clout and some views through going after this kind of stuff. But again, don't get pressed when we call out it. Again, love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.